minute. Hey.
Hey.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Great.
Yes. So before I start, shall I call you Bobby Penn or shall I call you
Please.
Lauren?
Can you call
Bobby
me Bobby
Penn.
Pen? Yes.
Yes. So hi, Bobby Penn. Bobby,
Yes.
welcome to Real Views TV.
I'm happy to be here. Thank you, Laura.
Uh, Thank you so much. So for those who are coming into this live, I have to introduce our special guest. She is an award-winning journalist. She's a brand coach and strategist and the founding editor of thebobbypen.com, Lauren Williams. Yes, 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 yes.
Hey,
I clap to
guys.
that. I definitely wanted to bring you on to this show today because I love watching people who don't take traditional routes to get where they want to be professionally. And you have been a very great example of that. And you've been in the business for more than 10 years, entertainment and media. You've been on TMZ, you've been on BBC, Essence, ABC 2020. The list goes on. And even through this pandemic, which threw a wrench in, a lot of
Everybody's playing. Yeah.
people's plans, you've been able to bounce back, which we'll go through momentarily. And most importantly, as a Black media professional, you've found different strategies to build a strong foundation for you this time, right? So the pandemic, of course, it hits everyone hard, but you've laid the foundation where you can be able to start your own entrepreneurial endeavors.
Yeah.
And so definitely, I know a lot of people have reached out to me and said, look, they're going through a situation right now. They have a dream or a passion that they want to move forward with, but they don't know how to start it. So I said, I have somebody that I've seen who's doing the work, is making it happen, and is not, and doesn't have any excuses whatsoever.
Yeah.
So before we even start, I just wanted to say, how is this pandemic treating you thus far?
Oh, girl. It's been interesting to say the least. Fortunately, I thank God every day that I can say I've probably had more good days than not. But I've definitely had my own scare with COVID. So I went and got tested. Fortunately, it came back negative, but I had that moment of nervousness. And then, of course, dealing with all the civil unrest here in America with the racial tension and police involvement in our communities. That's something that I'd be lying if I didn't acknowledge that it is impacting me and my mental as well. And to keep it at 100 with you, this morning, sis, before getting on here, I had a little day of just like, what am I doing and why am I doing this? And then I had to remember that someone wants me to answer those questions today. And that was another reason to get myself back up and keep going. So it's definitely been a roller coaster of emotions, as I'm pretty sure we all are experiencing. But for the most part, I've been doing everything in my power to stay positive and to stay motivated and to keep my faith intact and to be able to lean on that when I'm having a rough time.
That's right. And we're definitely going to go into the emotional and mental health aspect
Yeah.
as we continue on with the conversation. But first, I definitely want people to get a backstory and get to know you a little bit about how you started off in the industry.
Yeah. So I got my first story published when I was 14 years old. I always knew I had a passion for English, for language, for writing. And my middle school did not have a newsletter or a newspaper or anything for us to express that interest. So I remember getting with a couple of classmates and talking to our social studies teacher and asking if she would volunteer to be like our teacher aide so that we could meet after school and like do this. And again, it worked pretty well. We all got our first bug of writing. Many of us have gone on to actually pursue writing either by way of literary work or journalism. But yeah, so my story got picked up by a local newspaper. I'm still not sure to this day how they found it. But that was like my first time seeing my name in print. And I'm like, oh, wait, this is like a thing. I can like really do this.
Right.
So we get to high school. It's time to take the PSAT. And I'm trying to figure out what I want to major in. And the PSAT tells me that I should be a magazine writer. And that should have been a no-brainer, but it made sense. And I'm like, I've been collecting these Cosmo magazines and Teen Vogue my whole life, and anything that had B2K or Bow Wow in it, I literally had 3 subject binders full of magazine pullouts and covers that had B2K and Bow Wow. So it made sense that this would be something I'd be interested in. I've always had a passion for music and entertainment. I grew up in a performance kind of family, so I remember going to see my cousin in plays, or he was a music teacher, so going to his recitals or what have you. So I'm like, how can I put those 2 passions together? And that was when I decided to pursue entertainment journalism. So I went to college for it, had internships. I see somebody else love B2K, okay. Yeah, so I had internships and I was exposed to the industry in college. And I just knew when I graduated that I was going to be ready to enter the workforce and I was going to get this entry-level position, and it didn't happen. So that forced me to create my own publication, thebobbypin.com, literally with the simple intent of proving that I could do this. That was really all that I wanted. The plan was never to be a public figure. I never necessarily saw myself in broadcast or on camera. So it's really amazing to think of like what happens when you just do it. And I think that's what my story represents, if nothing else. I'm evidence that if you just do it, if you just get started, like the possibilities are endless.
And, you know, I remember while in J school, the number of people that were convinced that after they were done, they were going to go rush off to LA.
Exactly.
And
we've made it.
And so we made it. And so I said, and it's really not the case. It's really glamorous. And from your social media pages and your website, it really does. But there's a lot of work that goes into doing that. And so how were you able to how were you able to set yourself apart without having to feel like you had to move up in the newsroom? Find a regular news setting and move up from there. How were you able to set yourself apart? Because it's a very intense industry.
It is. I mean, I would say being consistent and like keep showing up, keep doing the work, whether you're getting the hundreds of thousands of views you want or the responses to your applications or what have you. You cannot let any of that deter you. I've gotten far more no's than I've gotten yeses. I've been turned away from way more things than I've been welcomed into. But the key is to not let that deter you and to just keep going. So I think one way I've been able to stand out is with unique marketing. I try to stay up on the latest. I've always been using multimedia elements. When Instagram gave us 15-second videos, they messed up.
Right.
I was all over that. Another strategy or tactic is I try to at least get my name on every platform. So anytime there's a new social media thing that pops up, I grab it and I at least try to learn it. I've learned over time that it makes more sense. It's better use of your time to focus on the platforms that are giving you the most return for your effort, but at least like giving it a try and just being present. In addition to that, when you're in these rooms, talk to people. Like, don't just be there, but like network, mingle, introduce yourself, genuinely be interested in others, treat everybody good. I've seen the intern or the volunteer become like the director or the editor-in-chief or what have you in a matter of a few months, years, what have you. So just treat everybody good, network, and be present. And I think that has helped me tremendously, just continuously showing up. I'm always there, whether I'm confirmed for the red carpet or not, I'm still in LA. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
And you've worked with many Black media outlets. Has your coverage shifted now with COVID at the forefront and the conversation on racism that's been happening across the nation?
It has tremendously. It's funny. I recall a few years ago just thinking like, yeah, I do entertainment news. I don't really want to do hard news. And my role with Radio 1, unfortunately, pushed me out of that comfort zone. I had to be capable and comfortable writing about everything or documenting everything. Right. And that really has prepared me for now. So to answer your question, for instance, Revolt is an entertainment platform. When they first started, they were calling themselves the #1 voice in hip hop. And for the last month or two, we've been very focused on social justice issues. So I found some of my pitches having to change or my subjects completely changing. And where I used to rely on these entertainment publicists to send me their talent, now I'm kind of just scrolling hashtags or just seeing what my peers are reposting as people that they find interesting within the movement and finding ways to amplify them. So it's been really like fun and interesting to make that pivot. And I really do take pride and honor in the ability or the opportunity rather to give voice to and amplify the voice of people who we might otherwise overlook or not really share their story. So Yes, COVID and the civil unrest has changed what I write about, but I definitely think it's for the better.
And I mean, you're in Texas.
I am.
So how's everything going for you here? I mean, I'm also in Texas as well.
Okay.
So, but I mean, you've been here longer than I have. So
Oh,
I'm
when did
sure
you
the
move
civic
here?
unrest.
I've just
Oh,
been
I
here
didn't
since
know. I'm just here
March.
to visit.
Oh, okay,
Hmm.
okay. Yeah, so I mean, I moved here literally. I moved here for a job, and for that new job, I reported to the office 4 days before everything shut down. So
Right.
to say I really haven't experienced Houston yet, because
Yeah.
everything has been shut down. But I have seen the community come together. A local restaurant here had an explosion. I still don't know what the real situation was with that, but I did see community bike rides come together. I took on a client in a local gym here. So meeting the people there and getting to know the different entrepreneurs within this one facility, there are 4 businesses. So
Yeah.
just getting a sense of like, okay, people have told me that Houston is a great place for Black professionals to come and thrive, but I'm actually here and experiencing it and becoming a part of the ecosystem virtually or in a
Yeah.
limited social
Capacity.
interaction capacity. So it's
Mhm.
been really cool. There's more to see, of course, I'm sure. But I like Houston so far. And I think the weather has been really helpful in terms of my mindset. I know we're not there yet, but I do just want to express that I've been able to go out and run or go for walks or what have you because the weather has been warm
Yeah.
here the whole time. And I
Yes.
don't know how I would have coped somewhere where it was cold and we had to be locked in the house. You know what I mean? Like I think that would have driven me
Yeah.
crazy. So those are my few pros of being in Houston so far.
And so, as a journalist and PR professional, right,
Mm-hmm.
you've been able to straddle both of the lines.
Yeah.
And so, you know how you hear PR and journalists are kind of like a
Opposites a little
dysfunctional
bit.
couple. Yeah, they can't live with each other,
Yeah.
but without either one, they can't function.
Yeah.
So, how have you been able to balance both and still maintain trust with your audience?
Yes. That's a great question. I mean, I try to operate through ethics. I think that's the advantage of actually studying journalism. Anyone can venture into that field, but I think it's you approach it differently when you've
Yeah.
actually studied in a classroom. So I try to operate with ethics. If I'm pitching to my editor, I make it clear that this is a story I would like to be published as opposed to I'm asking to write this story.
Yeah.
Likewise, with clients, I have to express to them, as with any other publicist, very few times can we guarantee a placement. So I want that to be clear up front. Just because I write for these publications doesn't mean that I have any extra cachet to get your
Right.
story published. It has to be a good fit. It's a great possibility that my editor would prefer another writer handle, et cetera. So I definitely think just being transparent, being honest, and being upfront and letting people know where you're coming from is going to be helpful. I'm still navigating this pivot. So
Yeah.
unfortunately, that's the only advice I could give you right now. But I just try to operate from a place of, like I said, being honest and allowing people to have the information they need to make the decision that's best for them.
And as a PR in PR,
Mm-hmm.
what are some things that PR professionals should consider when they're dealing with journalists? Because you get the emails, and they push it a lot, and you want a
Doing too
piece,
much.
you want to help, but I'm just
Yeah.
like, this is not cutting it. So,
Yeah.
from your experience, what advice can you give for those who are reaching out to journalists who have a whole lot of things to do?
For one, patience. Have patience. We're people just like you are. I am still expanding and growing, but I'm not yet at a point where I have a staff. So I'm literally the one person handling the emails, creating the marketing collateral, writing the articles, negotiating with my, right? Like I'm really doing all of this by myself for the moment. And I just think that I understand the urgency of publicists that a lot of times you have your client breathing on your neck. So that's where you kind of pass that energy off to us, but that's really not fair. So I just ask for mindfulness, patience, efficiency. When you reach out, I understand, I guess, not wanting to be overpowering to someone, but it's really, truly, respectfully a waste of time for you to tell me to email me or DM me that you're going to email me or DM me. Like, that could have
Yeah.
just been the message. So, right, like use my time wisely. If you get my attention, take it. And I personally don't find that rude. Some people really beat small talk before you ask for something. Tell me what you want so I can compartmentalize you, right? Like, okay,
Yeah.
this is something worth responding to and I can respond to you now, or this is something worth responding to and I need to set another time to get back to you, or this is just, I can't do it right now and I need to know that now so I can just tell you I can't do it now. We can move on. So please use my time wisely. When you send an email, put the most important information up top. I don't need more than enough information. I just need to know why your story is relevant, why now is the time to do it, and how does it benefit my readers? If you can
I
answer
hope
that,
people in the comments heard that. I hope they're just jotting down and taking notes,
how
because
can it benefit
usually
my readers?
it's true. It's true. Because if you're not catching me by like the first couple of lines, I move on to the next thing.
Yeah,
And
we don't have
even
time
before,
to answer
we
all
don't
of
have
them.
time.
So, I mean, it's just be quick with it. Get your point across. And with all due respect, I'm imagining there are probably some independent artists in here. If I can help you with one thing, because I know sometimes we can't afford a team and we're
Well,
trying to
that's
put
great.
ourselves out there. As best you can, read your letter to somebody else and see how it sounds. When you read your letter, read it from the standpoint of someone who doesn't know you or your work and see if it's enough to stand out. If it's not, please rethink it and figure out what sets you apart, because everybody is a music artist right now. Everybody thinks that they're great. In fact, there really are a lot of great music artists. So there has to be more
Right.
to it than that. Or everybody's an entrepreneur right now because a lot of us are forced into it. So there has to be more to it than that. Another thing that I've been seeing a lot in pitches is this affiliation with community service or activism. That's awesome. Please keep that going. But I need you to understand it's not very unique right now. So try to stand out, be concise, and use my time wisely. If you got my attention, maximize it, because you might not get it again.
Right. And you were based in New York at one time, right?
Yes, girl. I've lived, oh my goodness, in about 6 cities over the last 3 years. So yeah,
Jeez.
I've been
And
on the go.
was it all because of the career?
Yeah, well, yeah. Radio, the first position I took in radio was overseeing 2 markets, and that relocated me from my hometown, Washington, D.C., to Dallas. While I was in Dallas, I was working for both Dallas and St. Louis, so I would have to fly back and forth. I ended up moving
Wow.
to St. Louis for a little bit and lived there. When I left my position with Radio One, that was when I went to New York, and I ended up back in radio, but this time on the programming side. And yeah, here we are now. I took a full-time position in public relations and marketing, and that's what brought me to Houston. So that's my little trajectory over the last 6
Right.
years.
And for freelancers, have you dealt with issues involving, pay
Mm,
pay gaps? The hustle is real. So sometimes, have you ever faced a situation where you were underpaid or overworked as a freelancer?
yeah. I, I, how do I want to answer this? Different publications pay different rates.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's up to you, the freelancer,
Mm-hmm.
to be aware and firm in what you're looking for from this relationship.
Yeah.
So what I mean by that is there may be a publication of the 3 main publications that I write for. One clearly pays more than the others, and one clearly pays less than the others. So why do
Right.
you write for them all if that's the case? Well, they all offer different benefits by way of allowing me to express different parts of myself,
Mm-hmm.
or the relationship or the affiliation, right? Whatever. There are other things to factor in when you create these partnerships with publications beyond just pay. So I
Yeah.
will say, I'm used to being a full-time employee.
Right.
So this freelance hustle is different for me, and I'm still learning. So I guess that's why I'm reluctant to completely answer it. But I don't know that I've had conversations with anybody else to find out what they get paid. I just take people's word for it. I don't know if they're smart or not. And then from
Yeah.
there, I base on whether or not it's worth my time. And it might be
Right.
worth my time to keep the story to myself and publish it on my website, because I can leverage that for some way.
Exactly.
Or, you know what I mean? By being a freelancer, you do have some freedom of choice, and you don't have to give everything to your employer, versus when you are a full-time employee, almost everything you do kind of belongs to them.
Right.
So I'm not sure that I've experienced a pay gap or anything. Like I said, maybe I'm just not asking enough questions, but I do
Mm-hmm.
believe so far I'm being compensated fairly, but that's me
Great.
being intentional in the publications that I affiliate with.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I mean? I hope that
Right.
answered
And
it.
I've talked to a few freelance journalists as well, and they've also expressed to me how they've had to deal with um, the non-transparency of stating how much people get paid when they're at
Mm-mm.
a certain publication, so they can be able to at least step up and say, okay, so and so's getting paid this, why aren't I getting paid the same?
Yeah.
And when you're freelancing, it's not salary paid, you know what you're getting, so it's right there in front of you.
Yeah.
So I just feel like, especially for Black journalists, we're always fighting to
For our
for
work.
fair treatment, fair
Yeah.
payment in our work, and we always have to hustle hard. We always have to do double all the time, and the money's not reflecting it.
Yeah.
So I always like to ask, like, how do people go about uh, uh, facing, or being able to confront issues like that in the business correctly?
Yeah.
So because once you burn a bridge, I feel like it carries on. It's a very small, tight
Yeah.
bubble, journalism. So it's like once you burn a bridge here, everybody's gonna know.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I would just say if you feel that you're being treated unfairly, please always speak up, though. I would definitely say that, because there can never be change if you don't draw attention to it. And I feel like silence, complacency, that's part of the problem as well. But I'm not sure of what like the going rate is, but even in my experiences in the last 3 months, I've had from one publication, I've had different rates based on what the story is or how much effort or energy it took to like actually complete it. So if you believe you're doing more work than you're being compensated for, maybe it's as simple as having a question. I don't want to oversimplify
Right.
the issue, but I wouldn't be surprised if there weren't publishers or editors who are not going to say anything if you don't. Do you get what I mean?
Right.
Like, I'm going to offer you the minimum, and if you never ask for more, then I'm never going to offer more. And I think sometimes that's an issue. I know with Black women, a lot of times that is a problem that we all face. We don't always feel confident asking for promotions or raises or what have you, or discussing salaries. So I would definitely encourage you, going into a new situation, especially, ask questions, because people are not going to offer more than you ask a lot of times.
Right. And then show them your value.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For
Because,
sure.
I mean, how are they going to contest it if you can show what you can
Exactly.
do and that
Exactly.
you've done it and you have results?
Exactly. Document
And
everything.
yeah, we're in the job of documenting everything, so that's what we
Yes.
do. And what motivated you to go to Houston? You said it was because you had a job opportunity with a
Yeah.
PR marketing
I took a full-time
firm.
job, girl. I thought this was going to be my big break. Like, all right, I'm going to go to Houston. I got this cute little salary. I ain't going to tell you how much it was, but it was good, girl. And I'm like, okay, I can like go down here. Cost of living is far cheaper than it is in New York. And I can really just like rebuild my life. So it's kind of funny how things worked out. I've been using the banner, and I heard you mention it in the promo, from
Yeah.
unemployed to entrepreneur. But technically, I've had my LLC since
Ooh,
2012. So I've been a
okay.
business owner and I've been doing business. But I
Yes.
have kind of played with it, if you would. Like, I don't know that I've really dived in and like made the decision that I am self-employed and this is how I'm going to earn my
Gotcha.
money. I've always kind of been like, all right, I'm hustling right now. This is something I do on the side, but ultimately I want a full-time job. So
Right.
I'm operating in a different space now, and I'm grateful for the exposure I had, the short period of time I was with my employer that brought me out here. It really opened my eyes to the possibilities. I'm the owner of that company, is a young Black woman, and she makes well over 6 figures annually with her
That's dope.
business. So that was another, just seeing it, if that makes sense. Like, I had the opportunity to have a front row seat of what it could be if I chose to follow this
Right.
path as well. So blessings in disguise, and that's just how I'm choosing to look at this situation.
Right. So you said you started your LLC in 2012.
Yeah.
Okay, so talk about that. Like, LLC, the process to starting it.
Yeah.
How was that for you?
I hired a company to do it for me personally. You can do it yourself, but I just
Right.
didn't want anything to go wrong with it. I'm kind of glad I did hire somebody, because I did have a lapse in my LLC and I was able to just call that company. They got me reinstated. I paid another little fee and we back in action. So to each his own. Everybody has a different budget. But if you need professional help to make sure that you're filling out all of the documentation properly, one of the issues I ran into is having a registered agent. You don't always want to use your personal home address as your business
Yes.
address because that's listed publicly. So when you work with a company, they can resolve a lot of that for you. So they were called the company corporation at the time. They changed their name to, I think, incorporate.com.
Okay.
Don't start me to lying. But I think if you type in the company corporation, their new name will come up and you can still get in touch with them. But it's been very helpful. And what inspired me to like make it active again is all of these grants that are out here that you're not qualified for if you're not a formed business. So there are a lot of benefits to being an organized business. That includes being eligible for a business credit so that you can actually build up a whole nother line of credit that's not your personal line of credit. Girl, it's a lot of benefits. And I would encourage everybody that's doing something, if you see yourself continuing this on to protect your intellectual property, ultimately you might need a patent or a trademark or what have you. But in the meantime, just having something on record with the government that you exist, that this is your entity, I think is a good idea.
Yes. Taking notes, everybody. Take notes. Yeah, because I can't stress enough the power of ownership, especially at this time.
Yeah,
literally,
girl.
like we need to just get ours.
Yeah.
Get yours.
Period.
I don't care if you're working for somebody, you still got to get yours.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, because
even if you
there's
have
no
a full-time job,
loyalty.
you need some side hustle.
Yeah.
Like,
I said there's no loyalty out here.
Anything, it has shown us that we cannot rely on the things that we used to have our faith in. And it doesn't have to be a bad thing. It's just the truth and the reality, and you have to adjust to that. But we're looking at our healthcare, and we can see now that our healthcare system is not equipped to really take care of us. We're looking at, there's a debate of whether or not they're going to continue unemployment benefits for people. If we ain't going back to work, what is the question? What is the question? People aren't working right now. And don't even let me get to that, because I ain't got a dime of unemployment yet. And I'm upset about that because I haven't been able to even get through the process. That's a whole other conversation. So that's why I'm at a point of I've somewhat lost faith in the system. And I hope that doesn't sound too jaded, but that's my truth.
No.
I don't fully have faith in the system anymore, and it has taught me to be more self-reliant. So when I say I've had a total mindset shift, girl, I'm looking into real estate at the moment. I have invested in stocks. Like, my whole how I think of money has changed. And I definitely want that message to spread as well. We have to change our association and relationship to money, and better understand how to get it and how to manifest it. And it can't only be by working for it, because there's only but so many hours in a day. So anyway, I don't mean to go off on my tangent, but
no, you're here on Real Views, girl. We're trying to hear everything. And so now that you're working on your business full time, I mean, you've always had it, but now it's your main focus.
Yeah.
How is the business going for you thus far? You said that you had, things happened with the PR job. And so now you're fully head on into this.
Yeah.
What was your thought process and when everything happened?
I was paranoid about it the whole time. I appreciate that my boss was open about everything, about saving our jobs. There were tons of times that they were trying to cut people from the team, and she really fought for us to keep our jobs by taking a pay cut herself, by all of us taking a salary cut. So I really could not be upset when it happened, because I felt like they did everything that they could. They, being the owners of the company, did everything they could to try to save as many people as they could. But at the end of the day, business is business. And I am grateful that I took that approach to it, and that I handled my layoff with grace, because my employer was able to connect me with businesses here in Houston. And that was how I was able to secure my first client, right? Again, I'm new to the city. I haven't even had a chance to network yet. You still working. How you do that, sis? You treat people good. You treat people good. And I'm so grateful for her, because she really could have cut the cord and kept it moving, but she has not carried it like that at all. She's absolutely still a resource to me. And that has opened up doors for other people to be able to help me, and vice versa, for me to be able to share ways that I can help them. So I've just been in community building mode. I've been expanding my network. I've been accepting invitations for lives like this so I could connect with other like-minded people,
Right.
where before we sometimes were too busy, or felt like we were too busy to like
Mhm.
really connect with each other. This has really slowed things down and allowed me to reassess my network, pour into relationships that I've already had, and form new ones. So I think that's definitely a major key right now. People are at
Yes.
home, they bored, we're lonely. Connect with each other. You know what I mean? Like, let's be honest, a lot of people are really lonely as well. So just being that voice or that sense of compassion or that community for somebody could be really big. And of course, you're not doing this to make a sale from it or to make a client from it. But when you build that trust with people, people want to invest in you.
Exactly. And how have you been able to maintain your mental and emotional health during this time? Can you afford to take a detox from social media, or do you have to always be on, especially during your transitional phase?
That is a great question.
Yeah.
And I do feel the pressure to always be on. Like, literally, well, I've seen it. I've seen it over the last couple weeks. I would go from posting maybe once or twice a day, and then that still wouldn't even be every day, and be mad that like, oh, I didn't get any followers, or just posting to get that many likes or what have you. So I've kicked it up. Literally, I've been doing this experiment for probably 2 weeks, going on 3 on Monday, where I'm trying to post at least 4 times a day at my peak times of the day, which I think they probably are the same for everybody: 9, noon, 3, and 6.
Yeah.
So if I miss one of the times, I'll still post later. But the goal is to get at least 4 posts up a day. And I've seen my followers increase in 2 weeks by almost 200 followers. I've
Yes.
made $1,500 in sales, and that's just like my hustle. That's not even the stories that I've gotten from
Right.
publicists who didn't know that I existed a couple months ago, but they're seeing me pop up more now, or by me writing about some of these small businesses that are establishing, or lesser known stories. People feel more inclined to reach out to me, and actually have given me bigger exclusive stories that I can take back to the publications that I freelance for and ask for more money because it's an
Yes.
exclusive, or you know what I mean? There's
Right.
some extra oomph to this particular story. So yeah, you have to use social media. It definitely makes it hard because with you're grinding in order to engage and interact and do all the stuff that Instagram wants you to do, you are consuming more news
Yeah.
and more divisiveness. And I love the comments. I'm a moth to the flame when it comes to the comments, because in my mind, this is the people, right? I want to know what the people are
Yeah.
thinking. And that is a whole nother issue, because you really get
Yeah.
to
That's a
see
beast.
the ignorance. You really get to see the hate. So
Yeah.
it's a tough act to balance. But as journalists, as news people, we like to be in the know, and I find it really hard to completely get off of social media. So again, like I said, when I can, I try to find things that make me laugh or make me smile. I've followed more accounts that are spiritual, whether they're religious or just otherwise uplifting and encouraging. Just to kind of create balance, right? I don't only want news, and I don't only want BS, and I don't only want drama. So, and I was already operating from that, but now more than ever, I've just been trying to lean into and find spaces that uplift me and don't make me feel depressed, which is not
Yeah.
easy to do, but it's possible.
Exactly. And take it back to all the notable um, media outlets that you've been able to work with.
Mm-hmm.
So for those who are probably watching you and saying, oh, wow, man, she's done it all. She worked with the best of the best. How, I'm sure there's a long story of how you were able to get these jobs,
Yeah.
but, give a little bit about, how you were able to pick them up, pick them up, pick them up, pick them up.
First of
Because
all, it
people
didn't
need to
go
understand,
like
like, it's not
that.
easy. I said, to get the attention of all these big names.
Yeah.
Like, people need to understand, like, it's strategy. You can't just, oh yeah, and then hope,
Absolutely.
So for someone like yourself, how are you able to pick up these names?
Well, I'm happy that it sounds like that, but it's not. That's not how it went. That's not how it goes.
Yeah.
And I definitely want to be transparent with that. I think it's
Yeah.
unfair to lead anyone to believe that it's that easy, or at least for me, it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't. Some people, maybe they
No.
had those relationships, they were born in the right family, whatever. I don't know. That wasn't my story.
Right.
So Okay, so the strategy behind it, like I said earlier, is to show up and consistently do good work. Make people confident that you do good work. Make people confident that you're going to be where you say you're going to be when you're going to be there. And trust me, that took time to get there too. I'm a
Yeah.
Taurus and I'm an Aries. I'm on a cusp of Aries Taurus, so I could be hard-headed, stubborn, and it's supposed to be my way. I had a lot of things to get over. But once I got those things together and I got out of my own way, I noticed the difference. So I can firmly say being reliable is probably your top quality that you can be.
Yeah.
And that allows people to, when they're thinking of something last minute, it'd be awesome to be first in mind, but as long as you're in mind, that's a good thing, right? And I have definitely gotten opportunities from a last minute something. But when you always stay ready, you don't have to get ready. So, for instance, my first TV appearance ever was with ABC 2020. And I was at a job fair for sales, which who knows why I was there. I probably really could have been good at it because they had an audition for the segment at the sales convention, of course, to see who could sell a pen. Like, that was the first little test. So, honestly, I was leaving this thing and I needed to charge my phone. So since I was standing around, I watched a couple people go and I'm like, I could do that. And like, it wasn't a formal audition or anything. So like, what's the harm if I don't get picked? Nobody even knows that I did it. So I went over and I don't even remember what I said about the pen, but I made the pen sound like it was magic. And they called me a couple days later and was like, we really loved your audition and like your energy on camera. We want to bring you for this segment. And that just opened doors. So I actually got trained by Robert Herjavec. He's one of the sharks from Shark Tank in sales.
Ooh, girl, so I was just watching Shark Tank yesterday, binge watching.
Did you see the episode where I think they had like 6 judges? Girl, we can talk about this offline. But one of the episodes was crazy because the guy kept he talked himself out of it, which is another thing. Sometimes you got no one to shut up. But anyway, so that was one instance of like an opportunity just kind of falling in my lap. You're in the right place at the right time / shoot your shot always. Another opportunity, BBC News came from one of my classmates in grad school who was working with the network at the time. This was at the time when Mike Brown was killed. And their Israeli station, I don't want to say the wrong thing, but BBC is international, so they have hubs in other countries. They were doing a story on the civil unrest that was happening in America at that time. And they wanted to talk to me about my perspective as someone who documents the arts and how Black people contribute so much to the culture of America, but we are the least respected. So that was a really interesting opportunity that came just from me being Bobby Pin and the right person knowing me. And then another final example would be me making the TV One appearances with News One Now with Roland Martin. I had interest in that segment several times and I knew I wanted to be a part of it. And I was like hounding and stalking the producer. Yeah. And I'm just like, see me. Like, look, I be doing TMZ, which was something that just popped up, by the way, too. Like, I didn't apply for that or anything. Yeah. I'm like, look at how many episodes I've done in TMZ. Obviously, I could do commentary, like, mess with me. And another peer of mine, Ray Cunningham, I love him to pieces, from Love and Hip Hop Hollywood. He reached out to me. He was going out of town one week and they wanted somebody to like take his spot. And he was like, I've been seeing you grind. I think I had just come back from the BET Awards. And every day I was posting a new interview. So he was like, man, like, somebody that's working this hard, you deserve like an extra little nudge. I can't be here today. I know you would kill this thing. I know you're going to be ready. You're going to look great. Like, would you be open to it? And that one yes turned into me becoming a regular and then continuing to call me in to do it. So do the work. I wish it was like deeper than that or some other secret ingredient, but I haven't found anything other than just do the work consistently. Yes. And people will take notice. It may not be as quickly as you want. It may not be everybody you want to be paying you attention, but the right people will definitely notice you and be a part of your journey and help you get to where you're going once they see you helping yourself.
Yes, exactly. So with all of that, I mean, do you have one experience that it's unforgettable to you in your career? I'm sure there's many, but there's one I was like, man, I'll never forget.
Okay, one of two. I gotta say both. I love singing. That is my whole interest in entertainment journalism. I low-key want to be an artist myself, and I need to stop saying low-key and like really go for it. High key, right? But having the opportunity, I love Tank as a vocalist, as a musician. I think he is above most other artists out here. He's been responsible for some of our favorite music over the last couple of decades. So I actually ended up becoming like really cool with him and his crew, which was amazing just to know him and like have a personal relationship, let alone having the opportunity to interview him. And in the middle of an interview, him start singing, and I actually get to sing with him, and it's all on camera. Like, that's like,
okay. Oh gosh,
no,
like,
that was like a dream come true type of moment. And like for him to not flinch enough, but him to be like, wait, you got a little voice, like that was like the ultimate cosign. Like, wait a minute, hold on, like you think I sound decent? Like, oh wait, I might
none
have
of y'all can tell me anything. So
period.
nobody can
Okay,
tell me.
I'm about to win a Grammy right now. What do you mean? So that was one example. And then another, I take pride in being able to say that I have smoked with Snoop Dogg twice.
Stop.
Twice.
And we're just coming from the verses. You already talked.
That's why I had to drop that one. I was like, now's the time to share that story. So he's mad cool. You know, I've had people ask about like his level of respect or whatever. He's a grown man. He's a celebrity.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what he does with other people, but I know I demand a certain level of respect. And I didn't get anything less than like respect, and just, he was so humble. He was genuinely like interested in the people that were in the room with him, which was amazing to me. Like, you're this big, important person, and you asking me about like what my passions are and where I see myself in 5 years. Like, what? And like literally the whole time,
tell me anything.
No, seriously, the whole time we're sitting on the couch, I'm just like looking at him, and I had to be like, listen, I'm sorry if this is like creepy. I keep staring at you. He's like, what's wrong? I was like, nothing's wrong. I just picture you like in Baby Boy sitting on his couch, and he did a line from the movie, and it was just amazing. I'm like, he's cool as hell. So it's been so many amazing experiences. Those are just two, but I really could go on. It has been so cool, and it actually makes all of the letdowns and the tears and the disappointments so worth it when you have those moments of breakthrough, and like you're actually having the experiences that you envisioned in childhood or however long ago. So
exactly. What are some major keys that people should take away when they're building an online presence? Especially at this time, we all are glued to our laptops, our phones. And so drawing attention to what you're trying to do is definitely not an easy thing to do. And for you, you know, I'm sure you can't spill the whole tea because, girl, you have a consulting.
You can contact me for a consultation, and we can walk through a tailored plan just for you and your business.
That's right. You know, but a little bit of some, like, you know, if people are going through this transitional phase in their careers right now, and they're like, okay, I want to do this. You know, what lessons have you learned from your experience that has helped you thus far?
I would definitely say top of the list before you can achieve anything, it has to start in your mind. You have to believe you're worth it. You have to believe you're capable. So before you go launching a business or anything else that's going to require money and effort, and for you to stick in it for the long haul, you need to mentally be prepared to stay in it for the long haul. Two, I would say get over the fear of self-promotion. I think that holds a lot of us creators back. I can be honest. I told you, I've had to up my social media interaction if I want people to pay attention. You can't be passive in this game, because the people that are selling their tummy teas and the bundles and whatever else they out here selling, they're not quiet. They're doing that every day, multiple times a day. So whatever you're promoting, you need to have the faith and confidence in it that it truly is worth the hype, and you got to be that hype initially to get other people into the hype. Another would be to make sure your stuff works. If you're sending people to your website, you really want your page to load quickly, or else people are going to click away. If you have a checkout process, you want your checkout process to work properly. So putting those systems in place that will help you not only right now, but moving forward. People are absolutely still spending money. So if that was a discouragement for anybody, please don't let it be. People are still spending money, but the catch is it has to be something that they feel good about investing in. So making sure your why is front and center, making sure your why you stand apart, why people should believe in you, and why you do what you do. Once that's clear, I believe it's easier to bring people in and invest in you and believe in what you're doing. So those are just a few of the gems that you can find in my new ebook, 5 Principles of a Poppin' Brand.
Can't forget about that. Come on. I have definitely want to talk about diversifying streams of income.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So for you, I feel like
I'm
I've
scared my
read.
phone might die.
Oh no, no, plug it in, plug it in.
I'm here.
Yes. So for you, I've read that wealthy people have like 7 streams. I can be wrong right now. I read a lot of articles. I read a lot of things
Mm-hmm.
per day. So for you, how have you been able to structure this along with your business? Because I mean, you're in this business, you have to be a good writer. You got public speaking.
Mm-hmm.
You literally got to be selling yourself, which is also in the marketing. So there's a lot of things, and of course your ebook.
Yes.
So like, talk about that. Talk
I
about that.
want all the bags, okay? So
All
there
the
are
bags, all the bags.
technically
We
8
about this
streams of
money.
income.
Woo!
And those are earned income. So that's income from working a job, trading your time for money. There's profit income that comes from buying or selling. There's interest income that comes from lending money. There's residual income when you get paid for work that you've already done.
That's right.
There's dividend income that you make from trading stocks or owning stocks. There's rental income, exactly what it sounds like. You own a property,
Right.
you rent it out. There's capital gain, so that means assets that you own that grow wealth over time. And then there's royalty income, which means income from using your ideas. So as you
Yes.
already said, the average
Yep.
millionaire has 7 of those 8, and
Yep.
I'm currently at 5.
Go ahead.
And like I said, I really didn't think about money like this prior to being laid off or COVID. So I'm sure part of that has to do with maturity. I'm in my 30s now. But it also has come from that idea of reliance, and that's something that some of our counterparts who don't look like us sometimes
Yes.
have a better grasp of. So my 5 streams of income at the moment is earned income, and I make that through my freelance work as well as my consulting. So whether that's me having one-on-one consultations over the phone with people or providing services that are ongoing. I also make profit income, and I do that through my e-commerce. So I have an online store where I do drop shipping and I sell different items and products. That's a whole nother conversation that we could talk about if you
Yes.
like. But that's fairly easy. And it's profitable. People like buying apparel and t-shirts. People are always going to need clothes or products or what have you. So that's another way to do it. Interest income, I do not have any of that yet because I ain't got no money to loan nobody yet, but I will. Residual income. So that's where my ebook comes in and some of the
Yes.
digital products that I have in the works. Where you complete the project, you do it once, and it keeps making you money. So my book lives on my website, thebobbypin.com/shop, or on Amazon.com. And I could potentially get it in other retailers. I'm thinking about doing an audio book. Y'all gonna have to let me know if that's something that you want. It's just an easy way to package your knowledge and wisdom that you've already acquired,
Yep.
or research that you've done that other people don't have the time or desire to conduct. You can put together that knowledge in a way that can keep making you money, and literally you do it one time. I can send you the link to go buy the book, and we're done. So that's
Right.
been really helpful. Another is dividend income. So I have invested in stock for the first time in my life. And that's really interesting to watch and keep up with. And another reason to read the news. So I got to keep up with the businesses that I've invested in, watch what's happening, what decisions they're making, etc. But it's really cool to log in. I'm using the Robinhood app, and it's really
Yeah,
cool
me
to
too.
log in and just see the things go up and down. And it's like, oh, I made money today, and I ain't even zoom out there. Like, that's fire. So if y'all are interested, you can DM me, and I will gladly send you my Robinhood link, and it'll actually give you your first free stock. So no money down, really low risk, and it can just get your feet wet and get you open to the idea of trading stock. So please DM me if that's something of interest to you. I don't have rental income yet, but that is my goal. I can't even believe I just said it out loud. This was something I was trying to
Go
keep on the
ahead.
low. But that
Manifest it.
is a goal for mine within the next year. Honestly, I would love to see if I can make this happen before the year ends. That might be a little too ambitious, but definitely within the next 365, I intend to own a multifamily home where I am renting out at least 2 of the units that are there. So this is from my mouth to your ears. It's in
Go
the
ahead.
atmosphere now. We're
I
going
was
to
here.
manifest that. So that'll be my 6, but right now we still on 5. And my number 5 source of income is royalty income. And we make that through YouTube as well as my podcast. So I have it set up to monetize. So based on how many ever views I get, the ads that play either on it, in it, or around it, that helps me make money as well. So, or if my blog has has ads as well. So each time somebody clicks on an ad or what have you, like I get more money, and those add up. And it's amazing because, like, I promise those YouTube checks always hit when you least expect it, but you need it the most. Like, I ain't even gonna hold you. I'm like, how did y'all know?
Those are the best part.
Like, how did you know? So it just feels really good that you can, especially in the digital age, I feel like it's far easier than ever to like really get your money up and invest in these streams of income and figure out how you can play this game. So, you know, like I said, there are 8 for you to look into yourself and see what you can make happen. But I encourage you to start acquiring these streams of income, because you're not going to be rich from just working. It doesn't work like that. Your money has to make money. So if you figure that out, you'll be good set for life.
And for those who are in the comments, if you have any questions or comments for Bobby Penn, drop it in the comment section. We have a few minutes left. So I would like to ask, where do you see thebobbypenn.com several years from now?
Ooh, that's a beautiful question. I see me being a full-on production company. That's something that I've talked about, I've kind of played with. But I really would like to see that manifest. I have ideas and visions beyond journalism that I would like to see manifest. And then also I would love to be the conduit for other creatives to be able to express themselves and put their work out and express their passion. So yeah, it would be awesome to like produce TV and film and commercials and just be a full-on network, a full-on platform from start to finish that puts out amazing content on a larger scale. That's where I see myself.
Yeah. And during this process of building the Bobby Penn, did you have mentorship or did you have advisors that helped you along the way, or did you, this is just something that you?
Nope.
Okay.
Ask for help. Ask for help. Ask for help. Be around people who are like-minded. Be around people who know more than you. Be around people. Let me choose my words carefully. Use discernment when you're around people who are not masters of your industry. And the reason I say it like that is sometimes once we reach a certain level within our profession, you can be too close to it. It's possible to be too close to it. And you start using language or whatever that alienates people that are not insiders. So I do think that it's valuable to have people who are not always in your industry as well, so you can read things to them or bounce things off of them, and they can tell you like, well, I don't know what that means, or this sounds too cumbersome, or maybe there's an easier way to explain this. So just being around people. I'm grateful for my network. I have amazing family and friends who have been investing in me monetarily, being there for me when I'm having a breakdown because of something happened in business and I just need you to listen, connecting dots for me. I named a few people already that have put me in positions to win, so I'm grateful for all of those people. And yeah, just the community of people that I am able to reach out to and ask questions to, or they offer unsolicited advice, or they check me when I'm out of line. I appreciate and respect that as well. You can't only have people around you that are just praising you. Sometimes you need people to be like, that was whack, or you could have did this differently, or I love you more than this, right? Like whatever. Sometimes you need people to like, just really kind of pull you in.
No yes men.
So, exactly. So I would absolutely credit my community, my village. Like I did not do this by myself. I don't think anybody really does. I do for my podcast, Put Yourself on Podcast, The Hustler's How-To Guide to Self-Made Success. Yeah. I do describe it as self-made success, but even in those stories, those people have teams of tribes of people who have believed in them and poured to them in different ways. So we really are some of our parts, and it's important to just be around people that are edifying you, and just helping you be your best self, whatever that may be. If that's, again, keeping your spirits high or pushing you in business or actually have the means to help you in some way. It's important to have all of those.
Exactly. And do you have any final words? We're coming close to the end of the show. Do you have any final words or anything that you want to let us know, our audience to take away? Because I always say at Real Views, I mean, I want people to walk out of here learning something about whatever the topic may be today. This isn't just a show just for the sake of having a show and then moving forward. I love Black people. I want us to move up. I want us to grow. And through the various stories that our special guests come through to tell. I want everybody to be open about it. No sugarcoating anything here. And, you know, what final words would you like to give our special audience, our Real
Yeah.
Views audience?
Well, first off, Laura, thank you so much for having me, sharing your platform with me. It really means a lot. This was really fun and enjoyable. I like your personality. So
Oh,
I'll be
yours
checking
too.
these out more. And yeah, my main thing is to go get it. It's funny. I get these one-on-one consultations with people who really know what they want to do and sometimes even have plans, but they just want to hear that one extra person tell them to go do it. So if I could be that for you today, I'm that one extra person that's telling you to go do it. You can have it. You can, if you thought it, you really can have it. You just need to put the action behind it and blow your own mind.
The Bobby Penn. Thank you so much for coming to Real Views TV. I hope if you can come on by again, because you are just a part of the alumni now, and we appreciate you out here. We love what you're doing. Yes, come on.
You got to
Show
give
it.
glory. You got to get a glory.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Laura.
All right, I'm gonna see you in the DMs.
All right, girl. Later.
All right, thank you.